but just think of it this way, of our collective mind, it can go either way. We turn and we just boom. We're easily persuaded. People are easily persuaded. I mean, look at what you can be persuaded to buy, and you'd be like, later on you'd be like, I didn't really need that, I guess. We believe most everything we're told. We will change our minds easily or forget things. I'm good at forgetting. But I mean, people, we want to believe in something, so we'll believe what is often popular, or we'll go the other extreme and believe the opposite to popular and congregate in that area. It's not so hard for me to visualize something like that happening here, or of us not being untouchable, especially now given the rise in terrorism that's happened. And this isn't just from extremists. This is consequential. And to think that we have no part in it as nations, just because we're over here, we have a lot to learn. We need to read up, be informed that our actions affect other people in the world. And it's more known now. It's easily trackable to see if you look into history and not just listen. I mean, if you just listen to news bites all the time, it's obviously pointed out in quippy shows like Daily Show, where they'll show the, I know that's leftist to some people, but they can track, just they'll show the clips where leaders have changed their story. But they're not the only, it doesn't matter who's in power. That's going to happen. That happens. Protection of national interest, let's say. But we would believe what we're told. And sometimes, while it's war and conflict, there's conflicts we should be involved in and we haven't. Sudan, anybody remember that? You know, there's stuff going on, but we aren't because we are not interested. There's stuff we can do, prevent, and it wouldn't take much power, it wouldn't take much people. We do have brave people that will stand up and fight. And then we have where we're putting our energies into something that we shouldn't have, or we did it wrong, or we didn't listen to the people who were directly involved. Either way, I don't like war. I don't want to glorify World War II. Even some veterans do not like it glorified. They realize that it's not something to be glorified. I'm not disrespecting those who are in uniform. I'm one of those support your troops people. I don't support certain actions of the military or the government specifically, because they are making mistakes that are not only affecting the civilians, innocent civilians, and yes, there are innocent civilians. Do not believe that every person over there is a... I'm hearing such views that just make me upset and want to say, look, these are people with families, their countries, they're desperate. What do you think? What would you do to protect your way, to protect yourself, your family? What would you do if you had nothing and your country was torn apart? And what would you do? Like, have people thought about it? Some people say I'd take up arms and I would protect my family. Other people have said, I don't know, some people can't even think of it, especially over here, because we're over here and we want to hear about, other stuff, happy stuff, worry about things that we're very fortunate to that be the least of our worries. So I rambled, probably much too long. I'd like to think that there could be an end to war, but at the same time, because I would love for it to be a peace, love, and rainbow happy world where nobody kills each other. But people have always been killing each other. There's always been the struggle for power. There's always been the destruction of nations. There's all, and it's been worse even way before. It's been worse and bloodier. There will always be people who have to fight. There will always apparently be those who are leading and or in power to make people go and fight, because we collectively as citizens have not decided to make a better way of we've decided this is the way things should be, when I don't entirely agree. That's a whole different post. There's going to be need to intervene, and there are examples in recent history and even now where we should be intervening. It's a point of deciding why, and what for. If only it was up to the people who do the fighting as to what causes they would fight for. And maybe we should try looking at it a different way. There are people in this world who are fighting for the causes they believe in. Except we're not on their side, are we? We're not seeing it from their point of view. But they're fighting for what they believe in. And they're choosing to do what they're doing. We have people who don't. They're just fighting for what they're told as government. And yeah, you can't just have people randomly fighting and killing each other, but they're doing what they've been given info, and many of them are coming home and going, that was, what the hell was I there for? This was wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. It's too complicated for me to really talk about, is it? I'm against war, but there are things happening in this world that can be stopped, prevented. We can stop the arms from being. We have the might and the intelligence. Our nations have the intelligence and I'm talking military intelligence and other intelligence, to be able to intercede in minuscule ways, like subtle ways, to prevent transfer of arms, transfer of certain things, to aid in humanitarian, but back it up with force in areas of conflict where there are forces that are preventing people from having food. We have the ability, considering all the money that exists or doesn't exist. It's funny how the money is available for certain things but not for others. I think it doesn't matter financially. We can do anything resource wise on this earth. We could feed everybody. We could have health care for everybody. I'm not some weirdo just saying this. We have the resources. We can decide everybody. We can take care of everybody. We have the means to be able to. It's just a matter of there's a very much an unbalanced world right now, where not even within our own countries like Canada and the US, there's extreme polarity between those who have and those who don't. And so it's no surprise that it would happen on a global scale. And when you, for instance, you see violence, extensive violence in certain neighborhoods, drugs, teenage pregnancies, I bring up the violence again, gangs and that, in certain areas where there's lack of education or poor funding for poor families, like no funding for families, lack of access to opportunities. All these things are connected. Why wouldn't it be connected in a larger scale in other areas? If it happens here in small scale, it's happening elsewhere at other extremes. Are we really so different? No. We're not different.